Hi everyone, it's Miss Cheryl at Sacred Heart Montessori, and we are going to do some golden bead addition today. And we're going to do it together. So I have an equation for us to start with. So what you need to do is have your golden bead cards set up and your place value cards. So first, if you need to, go ahead and pause your video and get your place value card set up so it looks like this with your ones or the units, the tens, hundreds, and thousands. Okay, so if you don't have yours ready yet, pause the video and get them ready. All right, do you have your place value cards all set up? And then we need our golden bead cards. And you can take them out of the box. Now, before we use our cards, we always make sure our hands are clean and dry. And we don't want to make sure there's no food or any drink that might spill near our cards because we know that paper can get messed up pretty easily. All right, so first we have our unit bead cards. I put a little unit bead right here above it to help remind us in case it's hard to see on the screen. So here's my units. Then we have our tens. So I have a 10 bar there to go with our 10 bars. And the next category is 100 squares. So here are my 100 squares. And then we have my 1,000 cubes. So if you need to, pause your video and get your cards set up so you have your thousands, your hundreds, your tens, and your units. And restart it when you're ready. You ready? All set up? Let's look at our first quantity. Okay, so we have two numbers here. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. We call these add-ins. Can you say add-ins? The add-ins are the numbers that we're going to join together to make our new bigger number. So our first add-in is, let's read it together. We can start over here with the thousands. 5,000, 300, 210, 6. So now we're going to see if we can make that number with our place value cards. Let's read it again. 5,000, 300, 210, 6. So we'll get 5,000, 300, 210, 6. And now we will make this quantity with our golden bead cards. So let's start with our units. We need to make 6 units. We know that 6 is 5 and 1. So I'm going to arrange it so I can tell without even having to count how many it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make a 5 pyramid. And one more is 6. Okay. Now let's make our tens. How many tens do we need? Can you see it? 2 tens. All right, and you make your quantity too. Let's do 2 tens. 1 10, 2 tens. Okay, so I have my 2 tens. All right, make sure you have 2 10 bars, 2 10 bar cards set up. Okay, now we'll do our 100 squares. Oh, we can label these. So here's 6. Here's 2 tens. Now we need 300. 300. It's not a full square, is it? Label 300. All right. Do you have 300? And then we will make 5,000. Ooh, I'm going to make a 5 pyramid with my 1,000 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one in the middle makes 5. 5,000, and we'll label it. All right, do you have this quantity set up with yours? 5,000, 300, 210, and 6 units. If you need to fix anything, you can pause the video and fix it now. Let's look at our second quantity. Our second addend is, we'll start here with thousands when we read it, 4,000, 100, 310, 2. 4,000, 100, 310, 2. 4,000, 100, 310, 2. Alright, so you get these cards out of yours. 4,000, 100, 310, 2. Pause the video if you need more time. Are we ready? Alright, now we're going to form our second addend, and we'll put it down here so we have some space. Okay, so we'll start with our ones, our unit bead. 2 units. Okay, there's 2. Now we'll do our 10 bars. 3 tens. There's 3 tens, and I'll label it. Now we'll do our hundreds. 100. Now let's do our 1,000 cubes. 4,000. 3, 4,000. All right, we'll label 4,000. All right, we made both of our addends, so now we're ready for the fun part where we join them together. So let's see what our first addend is. 5,000, 300, 210, 6. I'm going to set that up over here. And I'm going to flip it over because we're not going to keep that quantity. Okay, our second addend, we brought 4,000, 100, 310, 2. But we're not going to have that quantity anymore either. We're going to join these together to make a new, bigger quantity. So when we're joining, we always start with our smallest category. So that is our units, or the ones. All right, so we had 6 here, and we're going to add these 2. Hey, I see 5 and 3. You know what 5 and 3 is? That's 8. 8 is 5 and 3. So we can find our card to label this. We now have 8 units, or 8 ones. I'll label that with an 8. That is our new amount of ones. All right, now let's look at our 10 bars. So in our 10s, we had 2 in our first addend, and now we're going to join these 3 with it. Bring them up together. There's 4. One more makes 4, 10, 5, 10. So what do we have? 5 tens. Can you find your card for 5 tens? 5 tens. Next category is our 100 squares. So here's 3 in our first addend, and here's 1 from our second addend. So now we have 300 plus 100 is 400. It's a 4 square. 400. Hundreds have 2 zeros. 400. And last, we're going to join our 1,000 cubes. So we had 5 in our first addend, and we're adding these 4 to it. 5 and 4. Do you remember what 5 and 4 is? 5 and 4 is 9. plus 4,000 makes 9,000. So we'll come over here and find the 9,000 card. Do you see your 9,000 card? See if you can find yours. 9,000. All right, we did it. We made a new sum. Sum is what we make when we join our atoms together. So our sum, this big quantity, is 9,000. How many hundreds? 400. How many tens? 5 10. And how many ones? 5 and 3. 8 ones. So our sum is 9,400, 5 10, 8. And what we can do is look and see. Do you remember what we started with? So we started with these two smaller add-ins. We started with 5,300, 2 10 6, and we added 4,100, 3 10 2, and that made our sum. Adding these together equals 9,400, 5 10 8. Now let me show you the symbol we can use when we're adding. We're going to use a plus sign. So in your alphabet box, here I have a plus sign. That means we're adding. So when we see that, it means we have this quantity and we're going to add this quantity to it. This add-in plus this add-in, and it equals, this is our equal sign, this add-in. All right. So that was the one we wanted to do together today. But if you would like to do another one on your own, you can look at the paper that has all sorts of different addition equations that you can try, and you can try one on your own if you feel like you have some energy to give it a try.